Sugar in daily life. Upon completion of this presentation, someone should understand 3 key points. 1. Why the human body loves sugar and craves sugar. 2. How too much sugar affects your body. And 3. What to do to reduce sugar cravings. Glucose is your body's favorite source of energy, so every single cell in your body uses glucose for energy. Right now, our brain cells are using glucose to think. Your guys' brain cells are using glucose to listen and understand my presentation. All parts of your body, from your head to toes, use glucose for energy. So energy is good. The main way that we get glucose in our body is by eating sweet foods like strawberries and cookies, as well as starchy foods like tortillas, pasta, bread, and potatoes. We have Dr. Yancey's exam coming up soon, so I know what you guys are thinking. Glucose is my body's energy, and I want to have as much energy as possible to get an A on the exam. So I should just eat lots of candy, spaghetti, and ice cream as much as possible so I can get an A and succeed on the exam. Sorry guys, but that's not how glucose works. To help us better understand, we can compare this concept to gardening since it's spring. You have a flower garden back at home. Your plants need the right amount of water to thrive and survive, but if you flood your flowers with too much water, they will die. The human body is the same, as too much glucose can cause health problems and even death. Eben Ricks explains on July 16, 2019 in Glucagon Physiology that the hormone insulin lowers your blood sugar level. The hormone glucagon naturally raises it. Your body uses these two hormones to maintain homeostasis and balance out your blood sugar level to keep it in a healthy range. Are you facing nonstop cravings and can't go a day without sugar? If the answer is yes, then I would like to say that it's not because you're weak-minded and lack willpower. It's actually because the cravings are like a glucose roller coaster. Every time you have glucose spike from eating a meal that is really high in starches and sugars, which is what turns to glucose. When we digest these starchy and sugary meals, your glucose levels go up. They spike and then your glucose levels crash. After the spike, this crash activates the craving center in your brain called the hypothalamus. Carol Lamb stated on June 2009 in CNS Regulation of Glucose Homeostasis that the complex interplay between the brain, in particular the hypothalamus, and peripheral systems control glucose supply to the brain, peripheral nutrient uptake and utilization, as well as feeding. Simply, the hypothalamus tells you to eat candy. So now you cannot fight this biological response no matter how much real willpower you have, because that craving is real and tough to deal with and triggers us to overindulge in glucose treats. When you overeat glucose during lunch, you are disrupting your homeostasis and are going to have a glucose spike, which is a rapid increase in the amount of glucose in your body and then a rapid drop to follow. These glucose spikes are the reason why we're having so many negative symptoms like feeling lethargy, brain fog, skin issues, inflammation, tiredness, aging, and even mood swings. Long-term consequences of glucose spikes are prediabetes and type 2 diabetes. But surprisingly, glucose also plays a role in Alzheimer's, as well as cancer and heart disease. Managing your glucose levels to avoid these spikes is really the foundation of feeling great, and also of long-term prevention of disease. Glucose and hormones are like two peas in a pod. If your blood sugar is not functioning properly, then your hormonal system is also not going to function properly. In our culture, unfortunately, we are being overly medicated and overdiagnosed. We've been so conditioned that if there's one symptom, then we have to put something on top of it and get pills to relieve it. For example, biological females are getting overly diagnosed for the hormonal system issues like polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is a condition where you stop ovulating, the biological female also stops menstruating, and they may face hair growth on the face as well as balding on the head. These symptoms have to do with hormonal imbalances of having way too much testosterone, which is typically seen as the male hormone, in the biological female body. And so often the way that this is treated is by giving the biological female the birth control pill. The birth control pill is full of female hormones, so when it's given to the patient is balanced with female hormones and testosterone in the body. However, this is not a solution because it is not actually fixing the underlying issue of where that extra testosterone is coming from and how we can fix it. If the biological female faces lots of testosterone in her body, then we should say, let's have a look at your glucose levels. Let's try to improve your diet and reduce the glucose spike roller coasters that you're facing and help you regain your health. Think of your intense sugar cravings and symptoms as a way of your body trying to speak to you. The simplest things we can do to lower sugar cravings is to work to flatten these glucose spike curves by eating foods in the right order. During mealtime, first eat veggies, then proteins and fats, and then lastly the starches and sugars. This works because veggies contain a very powerful substance called fiber. Geeta Dharmat explains on December 2023 in Chronicles of Diabetes Research and Practice that soluble fiber consumption slows or prevents the absorption of dietary carbohydrates due to the viscous gel-forming properties of these fibers, lowering postprandial glucose excursions. By eating fibers first, the fiber in the veggies has time to coat our upper intestines and make a protective superfiber shield that is going to slow down glucose molecules from the rest of your meal to enter your bloodstream. By eating veggies first, you are protecting your bodies against those massive glucose spikes. By balancing glucose levels, your cravings will disappear over time and you can live a healthy lifestyle. Thanks for watching. These are my sources.